You know, the people say that a lot.
Who is Ghana?
Ghana
Oh,
was
but
not on
you know
ballot.
the party did quite a lot of work on the ground to
Yeah.
help secure this victory. Not just the MPP. I think the NDC was also heavy on the ground
Yeah.
as well. Yeah. So
Yeah, they took it seriously. And then the people of Kumewu chose. Yes. So congratulations to the winner. All right, that was our inspirational song brought to you by Duraplast Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC pipes and water tank. Where Duraplast goes, water flows. Good morning to Fred and Joseph Ackah-Blay. Thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Now the Drive Safe campaign comes to you every morning thanks to Joy News and the Multimedia Group, supported by Toyota Superior Quality, Imperial General Assurance, Solid Protection. Avoid all distractions, keep both eyes on the road and hands on the steering wheel. Be visible, drive with your lights on. That is how you drive safe. All right, this is how you say it right. It's brought to us every morning by Kingdom Books. At Kingdom, quality and affordability are their hallmarks. And SG Bank Ghana. The future is you.
Something must be done.
You say either, I say either.
I've got a word for you. Meretricious. That's definitely a rare one, isn't it? One of my favorite words, if I'm being honest. Meretricious. Meretricious. It describes something that seems attractive but is actually false or has no real value. Now, do you know the origin of the word meretricious? It actually comes from the Latin word meretrix, which means prostitute. Oh, and it gets better. The genitive noun for meretrix is actually meretricus, which literally means a woman who earns money. So in ancient Italy, it was believed that any woman who earns money is a prostitute. Sadly, there are some men in modern Ghana whose views haven't evolved much from that. I hope you are not one of them. I hope you are a feminist who earns. A male meretricus, if you will.
Meretricious. Okay, all right. Let's get into the news review brought to us by First Atlantic Bank. Refreshingly different. Who's starting for us?
I'll start from the front page of the Daily Graphic this morning. Criminals take over Pantine Hospital. A story is on page 16. I'll share bits of the details with you shortly. But by election, NPP's Enim wins Kumewu, and GJA wins bid to host Third African Media Convention. Damongo, Netco restores power to St. Anne's Hospital. That story is on page 20. But a story on page 16 about criminals taking over the hospital. We are told that the health facility, which accommodates nursing and midwifery training institutions, has now become a safe haven for criminals and social misfits such as thieves, weed smokers, and squatters. On a daily basis, they tramp the 344-acre hospital land in their numbers to unleash mayhem on staff, patients, students, and other patrons of the health facility. This is not the first time Pantine is in the news. There have always been issues, particularly about encroachment on the lands, and we have been told now that criminals are taking over the place as well.
all right, so I take over with the daily guide. Comes with the NPP's victory in Kumewu. NPP's Enim wins Kumewu by election by landslide, and it has Ernest Yao Enim, the NPP man who was on the ballot. NPP opens presidential nominations Friday, just 2 days away, and it comes with photographs of Alan Tremantin and Dr. Baumia over there, and some CEOs displaying the awards they won at the recent CEOs Summit in Accra. Back page, the GFA boss has been speaking, and he's been praising Matthias Lothar. Is that his name?
Lothar Matthäus.
Lothar Matthias. Yeah, he played for
I
Germany.
can't believe I know something more about football than someone else in the world. Yeah, we grew up on Lothar Matthäus.
Yes.
He was a fantastic player. He won the world best at some point in time.
Absolutely.
I think the early 90s, actually.
Yes, he was the captain of the German national team
Yeah.
for some time as well.
He's
Fantastic
investing in
player.
Accra Lions.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, he
he's
and some
invested
other
in-
partners.
Yeah, and that's good for Ghana football because they bring the experience from the German Bundesliga to Ghana, which will help improve.
Yeah.
And you know, if your football is good, it helps your economy as well.
Absolutely.
So great
Yeah.
one there.
Brings his
seven-
own profile as well, his own exposure as a a globally recognized player.
And the,
That
the
also
cash
helps.
is important.
Oh yeah,
Because we need facilities. I mean,
Indeed.
I was watching highlights from some of the games over the weekend. Charlie,
Yeah.
you should see it's terrible.
some way.
Our football doesn't look attractive on TV at all.
Well, let's hope Accra Lions can now build a stadium,
Yeah.
with some spotlights and
Yeah.
we also don't want a situation where some clubs are too strong and others are too weak.
Charlie, we want
So
everything
as
in
we
the world.
grow,
Yeah, like Man City
Yeah.
and Man City
We
and
want-
Arsenal.
we want football to become communism.
Like Man City and
Share
Arsenal, I'm
everything
afraid.
equally.
I don't think I don't think you want to say that. Man City did a lot of shady deals.
Whatever.
So that's what we have in the daily guide.
The new Crusading Guide will be the final one for me. Kumewu by election, landslide for NPP. I like the choice of photograph. Very interesting. It's a photograph of Dr. Baumia lifting the NPP candidate's hand.
Yes.
Okay.
Interesting choice of
Yeah.
picture.
GNPC Petro SA deal is also on the front page. And 2023 Ghana Manufacturing Awards entrance, pharmaceuticals sweep 4 awards. Bost MD also has won some awards also on the front page. And JB Dankwa appeals to Napo to help Subin is also another story on the front page. I think that will be all for me.
The Finder, GIJ lecturer appeals for help to raise 700,000 for kidney transplant. IMO boss tasks transport minister to spearhead green shipping. IMO is the International Maritime Organization. And Newmont pays over 843 million Ghana cedis to government for first quarter. Good one. GBC workers threaten strike over removal of allowances, and I think we have to go into that story. Enim NPP secure 70.9% landslide victory. It was largely peaceful despite pockets of disagreements. And I saw a tweet from Nelson Dafiamekbo saying that he was part of the reorganization of the NDC in Ashanti region, and he thought that the figures he was seeing didn't reflect the membership of the NDC.
Yeah, he said they have 9 and 8 branch executives in some areas, and they are getting 2 and 3 votes.
Maybe they are not well. They didn't go to. So
they
yeah,
couldn't come out and vote.
it's a very serious one. I'm sure
you
it's a
imagine?
similar situation for the MPP in the water region if they try.
Do you know? I think that is a far more troubling observation than the fact that they lost.
Yeah.
It's a far more troubling observation because that is exactly the kind of thing you don't want to see replicated across constituencies. You don't want to discover that your mass is hollow at the center, and that what you think is some sort of groundswell is actually not.
But it's a big problem in the strongholds. Because in the strongholds, it's like voter region. When you are trying to organize NPP there, you may end up with people who may be NDC ordinarily, but
They'll
they
pretend.
just see it as an opportunity to, be part of something else. Because maybe when
There
you join
might be some-
NDC, you may not make it up the top. So you just join the MPP. Just the same thing can play out in
the other
Kumewu
way,
and other
yeah.
strongholds of the
But
MPP
in
where
your heart, it will be the party that you truly
Exactly.
love, the one in your blood.
Exactly.
Hey.
It's
No easy.
troubling, actually. It is.
To make for an interesting election in 2024, that's for sure.
Yes, so let me give you some more details about these stories. Passengers angry at Kaswa commercial drivers' refusal to reduce fares. Some commercial drivers flying around Kaswa and its environs have refused to reduce the 10% transport fares directed by the Ghana Private Road Transport Union following the reduction in fuel prices. And it's not just Kaswa, it's all over. The drivers don't like the idea of cutting down their revenue. So they do this, and it is to punish the ordinary person. If there's an increment, they are very quick at doing that, and then when they are buying fuel, that's your input. to your business. It's reduced. The dollar has gone down. It means that your spare parts won't cost as much, and then you still want to keep all the profits without passing on to your passenger. That's not fair at all. So
they'll start talking about spare parts and all the other things.
No, don't worry about
when
that,
it's time for them
once
to.
the dollar is improving, it means that at the ports,
Yeah.
your expenses towards clearing your spare parts will go down. You have to pass on this to your customers. I mean,
It's not easy.
I'm giving you the story of the GBC workers who want to go on strike. The Divisional Union of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, GBC, of the Public Services Workers Union, has asked the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to rescind its decision to deny workers of GBC their legitimate allowances. This follows a directive by the Fair Wages Commission for the cessation of payment of illegal allowances to some workers of GBC, and I understand they had a news conference yesterday to resist this decision by the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. It's going to be a few difficult weeks ahead of us in this situation.
Oh well, fingers crossed that that matter gets resolved quickly. You know, guys, I got a text before we go online for the online review. I got a text message, and I thought I'd bring it up. So a friend of mine, most people get their pay slips a couple of days before the pay actually gets put into their account. So today is a day when most people get their pay slips, and there's been a change in income tax brackets from 30 to 35%. This guy says that he's had a look at his pay slip and his income tax has increased as a result of this by 50%. Right? So another half of what he's been paying as income tax has now been added. I don't know how that calculation has worked out, but clearly, that is the effect
This is
of this.
the person's May salary.
Yes.
The salary for May.
Yes. So that change kicks in from this month. Okay, and I mean, his tax has increased by 50%. This is going to be a very difficult year for many, many, many workers, right? If you work in or are in any way associated with the financial sector, forget about bonuses. You can't rely on that to set you right, because banks made losses, right? And then you've got this massive hit to your income tax as well. Life is just going to become acutely and sharply harder. For all of us. And I think we have that responsibility to start telling these stories, of how these things are affecting us. Because the tightening your belt and all of that, it's taking a real shape in a way that we haven't been used to in a very long time. And we have to start thinking ahead. We don't do that as a country. We don't try and game theory things, and try and figure out how this will affect all different aspects of our life, from crime to social welfare to family life, and we don't think about these things and put in place measures to prevent them. But it's going to hit very, very hard.
And I mean, especially with the IMF program also taking off, it will also come with its own challenges, because we already know that at least utility tariffs have been going up, and we know that from what the IMF is saying, it's going to continue going up. And so it will mean that your electricity, water, so if you are losing almost 50% of your income already to taxes, or 50% more than you used to pay previously,
paying 50% more tax.
it means that your disposable income has gone down
straight,
and already the water that has also gone up will wipe a bit of it. Then the transport fares,
18% electricity tariff increase,
and water, then you have the transport fare issues too, because they are refusing to reduce the transport fares if you are someone who relies on the public transport system. So in the end, it comes back to the same point. The banks are actually not going to get money, because you don't even have enough to even think of saving. That's what Sarkodie will say, hand to mouth.
I've started doing something that I haven't done, I don't know, since before my son was born. Maybe the last time I did this was maybe 15 years ago. Normally, when I come home, I take my clothes off, I put them in the wash. My son takes care of our laundry in the house. So he takes all the coins out of the pockets and puts them in his little coin jar, I've started my own coin jar. So Charlie, I've just wiped out his revenue.
There will be a massive demonstration.
I've wiped out his revenue.
Each one for himself, God for us.
I tell you no lie. He's been looking at it with some serious displeasure
You are
and
not a
suspicion.
competitor.
But this guy.
Yeah, and
It's
so
not easy.
that's what it is. Anytime you go to the IMF, they will give you conditions which you'd have to ensure
Yeah.
you do everything possible to satisfy. So why don't we get the IMF to stay for a longer period? Because you know, any action they take
Corrects.
immediately
Yes, corrects something.
brings us back to you know, proper economic environment.
Yeah.
So why don't we let them stay for a while so we don't have to go there ever again?
It's such a demonstration of our own ineptitude. The fact that the IMF can come along, somebody who has never lived in this country, usually the person who they send to come and supervise at the finance ministry, someone who has maybe 1/10 of the experience that our leaders have in economics and finance, right? This person will come and sit there with a playbook and tell us, do this, don't do that, do this, don't do that. And suddenly we see results.
Yeah.
It is a very, very big vote of no confidence in our own leaders, that they are deeply inept or deliberately destructive.
I mean, I think it's a mix of a bit of both, but I lean towards the fact that sometimes we do things just because of the results that we want, because we know that a major challenge over the period has always been the issue about wanting to win elections. So that's how come for many election cycles we had huge budget deficits. It's the period that Charlie we just blow the money, do whatever we want to do without thinking of the good financial measures that we are supposed to implement. We know very well the COVID period. There were revenue issues, but there were also serious expenditure. I mean, money that was used all over the place. I think the Auditor General's report captures
Indeed.
all of that.
All of that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. All right, let's go online. The online review is brought to you by Zenith Bank in your best interest and Goyle Good Energy. And if you're looking for a bank that understands you and puts your financial needs first, well, there's only one place to go. It's Zenith Bank. My people at Zenith will take care of you. They are your bank of choice. They've got products tailor-made for you. Whether you're young, old, an entrepreneur, a student, a salaried worker, a corporate entity, an SME, a pensioner, parent, a Ghanaian resident abroad, foreign resident in Ghana. Listen, especially when times are hard, Zenith Bank is where you need to be, because everyone can bank with them. Join the Zenith family today for an unrivaled banking experience. Call them on 0302 680 884 or 0307 086 370, or just email them. It's info@zenithbank.com.gh. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. 30 years of deception, quack midwife's shocking trail of deaths and malpractices exposed. This is I think it's something that the Fourth Estate had been looking into. Very, very disturbing story indeed. Midwife with no qualifications. University students asked me to match up the amount NPP gave them for their vote. This is a claim by NDC's Kumawu parliamentary candidate following his loss. All right, so you can find more details and more stories on myjoyonline.com, including this one. 47-year-old man inflicts cutlass wounds on friend over roofing sheet. Let's see what's on City FM Online this morning. We will not listen to any more promises should we resume picketing, and that's the pensioner bondholders. So many times they've picketed and been told they'll get their monies, and it hasn't happened. The credibility of government in that particular arrangement is eroding very fast. And this one says Fair Wages and Salaries Commission justifies decision to block allowances of GBC staff. Ooh, that should be interesting. Go check out that story. And let's see what's on CNN this morning. Modi is the boss. Australian leader gives India's Prime Minister a rock star welcome. That Australian Prime Minister is an interesting character on his own. All right then.